Yes, yes, I know. Good morning. Good morning, Juan, as we do this haunted head scene. Good morning, friends. Good morning, patriots. I myself have just arrived after 2 hours sleep. I stayed up till the wee small hours of the morning to have a look at the American presidential elections. Also, while sipping on some very fine triple distilled Bushmills. Thank you so very much to Laura T. You know who you are. Appreciate that. The birthday gift. As the room fills up, thank you, my friends. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am slowly but surely catching up with the state of things as I left it late or early this morning at about 5 a.m. It was still only about 71% into the reported recording of the ballots. But looking to you, Intelligent Monkey, I'm going to say yes, but to my Twitter feed, a possible no. I don't know. Appreciate that, Simon. Thank you. This is indeed a glorious day, the big 5-0. But I want to get this done, and we will be broadcasting tonight. Believe it or not, we had a mini celebration tonight, mini celebrations to carry on. Just because we can't celebrate it in person, now we have to go digital. Digital birthday celebrations. What can we do? Good morning, Karen, as the room fills up. Good morning, Brenda. Fantastic to see you. Well, I knew you'd be all here. So when I woke up literally 20 minutes ago, I said, I better get my stuff together and get in here and say good morning to everybody because I went to bed early, which you didn't go to bed late. Newstock got called out for their bias reporting. Don't even mind. Did you see? I was watching, not that I was watching. I was tuned in with on an American station on one of my friends. Good morning, Laura, SoCal. Good morning to all the other speakers that were on the show with me last night, and my good friend Daddy Dragon as well. Great to see you there as well. And we cajoled, we talked, and we watched with astonishment as the results were polling through, starting from the east coast of America, slowly as the polling stations closed, and it moved its way to the right. Good morning, Freya. Thank you. Good to see you from Navan. We also have a Jenny in the house. Jenny, I hope everything's okay from your sad news from yesterday. Great to see you here this morning. Big Certi celebrations from Sarah Tech. Nikki, one of Torino's angels. Great. Thank you very much for your kind words. I am the same as well. Good morning from Drogheda. Good morning, Karen. Thank you for those birthday wishes. Good morning, everybody. And thank you all for the happy birthday wishes. We'll let you crack on as well. Into Irish Manchester, Michael John Dennis lets us know 4 more years to drain a very big global slump. Intelligent Monkey said he's ahead in Florida. Texas has called it for Trump. West Virginia, he's ahead. Florida, he's ahead. When I was watching it last night, we were flicking through different ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox. I also had RT on last night for their election polling, and the difference was stark between all of them. Some had Biden up ahead at about, I think it was 173 to 98, something ridiculous last night in the electoral college voting. And the electoral college is the only one that matters, really, regardless of the popular vote, as it's called. Thank you, Keith. More birthday wishes coming in. Really appreciate that. I'll have 1 or 2 articles to sort of distract us as you chin, and then we will catch up with the final results. I don't think it's still being called for. I think Florida was still very much in contention. When I woke up, some of the polls that I was looking at were suggesting that there was being returned ballots, and they're doing their utmost not to declare it. Has it been officially declared is what I want to know. Also, I've just thrown a link out there. All you crazies in the live gang, particularly over on live chat, over on Facebook and Periscope, please come in and help a brother out. I see the ticker tape is working. I won't be able to resolve that this morning. I'll let it translucently pass through. I'm going to jump over to this article. I say this article. Not now. Oh, he's only gone and pressed the wrong button, lads. He's only gone and pressed the wrong button. No, I've got it there. And I resume my normal place. This is just, to kind of, not to pile on, but to sort of push out. I seen Pierce Doherty in the Oireachtas yesterday. Oh, look who it is. He's in the house. I tell you what, Alan. Why don't you? There's a link out there, Alan. Why don't you jump in the green room straight away? I should have sent it to you straight away. I don't have to. Alan, can you grab that link? I just threw it into the live chat and come on in. Shop's closed. I want to bring Alan Sweeney in from his intrepid journey, and still ongoing as well. But I will read the article while we wait for Alan to sort himself out, and we'll go through. Link is in the description box there again, Alan. Very much appreciated, Andrew. Very much appreciated, Paddy Fox. Thank you very much for your kind words. But I think the real star of the show, if we can get him in here today, is Alan. I want to talk to Alan about his fantastic work. Let's kick off with this one here. Leo Varadkar leaked Brexit conversation, says Dominic Raab. And I will just bring this over to the reader view. Do bear with, well, we are slowly getting through. Former Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab has accused Leo Varadkar of leaking and misrepresenting a conversation he had with Ireland's foreign minister. The conversation took place at a dinner in October last year, and an account was reported in the Daily Telegraph. It said that Mr. Raab had demanded the right to pull the UK out of the backstop after just 3 months. A spokesman for the Irish government said there is no basis for this allegation. He added, Mr. Raab should produce any evidence he has if he has it. The backstop is an insurance policy in the Brexit deal that aims to avoid a harder border on the island of Ireland. Mr. Raab said he would not make such a proposal, and the conversation was leaked in a misrepresenting way, in the accurate way, by the Taoiseach, Mr. Varadkar, directly. He added that he had only asked Mr. Coveney not to rule out looking at a mechanism for exiting the backstop. Mr. Raab also suggested that the Dublin government would need to find a ladder to climb down over the backstop. They took such a trenchant line on the backstop, such a very political line, he said. We do not need to understand. We probably need to work together with our Irish friends to work out a mechanism that not only deals with the practical operational issues, but it's politically acceptable for them. They are in a very difficult position now, mainly because of the particularly strong political position that was taken by the Taoiseach. He was later asked what such a ladder might consist of. Mr. Raab suggested this could be a unilateral backstop exit mechanism for the UK, but with a string of assurances for the Irish government, eminently solvable. He also suggested that various technical and administrative measures could be used to keep the Irish border frictionless in all circumstances. Mr. Raab said the issue was eminently solvable, but with goodwill and practical cooperation, technology, and decentralized processes. He also said the UK side had failed to press the issue of making the backstop time limit during negotiations last summer. In July, he told Michael Barnier, the EU chief negotiator, that there needed to be a finite backstop, while Mr. Barnier said he understood it needed to be short. I don't think we grasped that opportunity. It was certainly in play. That was not followed through with enough vigor, Mr. Raab said. He said some people in Dublin, Northern Ireland, and the European Commission see the backstop as an opportunity to control the UK after Brexit. That report there. Checking back in with you. Alan, come on, Alan. Get yourself together and get in here with me. Slurp the coffee, ladies and gentlemen. Slurp of the coffee. Actually, that's not a bad thing. Letting the live chat kind of flicker through. You could probably see it a lot clearer that way there. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Hillary dear. Hillary dear, good morning. Martin Shees, thank you for a late live stream last night. Yeah, it was just to stop in before I went in. You can probably see the big Scaldy. And I didn't go too much overboard, otherwise I would be here. A couple of stiff whiskies as we were watching the election. Yeah, absolutely, AJ. Absolutely. I'm going to throw that out there for him again. And we will swing into the second of this morning's articles. Leo the League still very much on the agenda, still happening. He's still under great strength. And Alan joins us back in. So the green room is closed. Alan, give me one. Let me run through one article. I want to finish off this article, and then we'll finish off with your good self. So relax. Great to have you in the green room. Sit back. Leave Fiona's Bollinger alone. She gets very antisocial of a Friday night if there's nothing in the freezer. Let me tell you, that calm, posh persona is nothing like the demented Tasmanian devil that's in the green room of a Friday night if there's no chilled Bollinger in the back room. You heard me, Fiona. You heard me. this last article here, and then we'll jump straight over to our good friend Alan, who has been doing some monumental work out there, and we'll get through this one here quickly. Let me jump straight over and over to here. The Rona Squeeze, a Swedish hip hopper, and so it was time again. Sweden, a beacon of light against the world gone mad. This from Zero Hedge. Tighten restrictions, mandatory limits on public life, curfews, orders to stay at home, travel bans with invasive hoops, and all the other anti-corona policies that ostensibly aren't lockdowns. They look like lockdowns, they quack like lockdowns, but in these euphemism-prone times, we call them by any other name than lockdowns. Maddeningly, the goalposts keep shifting, updating life and language faster and better than George Orwell himself could have done. First, we had to take precautions to flatten the curve, hospitals and fears, remember? Then we had to stop traveling or visit them all, because who needs that anyway? Then we had to wear cloth over our faces and stay away from each other for the elderly's sake, naturally. Then we had to give up public life for everyone's sake. The next step, bravely taken by the authoritarian politicians and epidemiologists across the Western world, is to intentionally overdo the restrictions for now, so that we have any hope of getting freedoms back for the holidays. No matter how hard these enlightened autocrats have squeezed, this badly behaved virus refuses to listen. How odd. They must think we've passed a law, made an announcement. Why isn't it working? Back to your rooms, the Austrians said, after an explosive number of positive tests in the last week. Enough with the provisional liberties and niceties. You're grounded for the rest of November. Gatherings and cultural events are closed. Christmas markets are out. The Icelanders, already in the spring, proclaimed corona-free, and all summer celebrated in puff pieces by Elizabeth Colbert in the New Yorker and Adam Roy Gordon in the Atlantic, still dreamingly speak of celebrating Christmas. When the latest rounds of tighter and tighter restrictions came into effect this week, the government talking heads, and the Prime Minister in particular, told their subjects to give up on Halloween and the next few weeks. Let's sacrifice these few weeks, they said, so that we can loosen restrictions for Christmas. Fat chance. The Brits and the French have taken even more adamant on setting timelines or circuit breakers in their invasive policies. We strip you of liberties, dignities, and in things in which most people find joy, but for their good cause and just for a little while, okay? The naivety here was always impressive. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Most people could have plausibly believed that what their politicians told them about timelines in the spring. This was a new situation. We don't know what the novel threat was, and old handbooks could be thrown out before anyone had time to object. The withdrawn freedoms would be rolled back in time, but as a political economist Robert Higgs taught us long ago, never quite fully. A little over a year and a half later, we're going through the same ordeal again, but with much better knowledge about the overblown risks, which much better tools in preventing spread and safeguarding the elderly. Still, it doesn't seem to matter. The political overlords, not exactly known for their excellence in interpreting statistics, look at their exponential graphs and do the exact same thing they did in spring. It's almost as if the virus doesn't care about your crackdowns, your faster and harder tightening of the societal and commercial noose. If you squeeze people just a little bit more, maybe, just maybe, the virus will listen. French ministers, like American policymakers in the spring, started mandating what kinds of products may be on the supermarket shelves. Soap is acceptable, makeup isn't. The Germans, widely celebrated for their track and trace program and generous financial schemes, opted for a mild lockdown, just 4 weeks, perhaps, suggested Holman Jenkins in the Wall Street Journal recently. The bigger numbers might suggest we are grappling with a natural phenomenon over which we exercise little control. Take the bamboozled and highly infected discussion over mask wearing. They're effective. They're not effective. They're effective if you use them right, and even if they're not, every little bit counts. In its beautiful infographic, the New York Times describes how they work. A good mask will have a large surface area, a tight fit around the edges, and a shape that leaves space around your nostrils and mouth. Even if accurate, we don't need to go much further than our closest supermarket to notice that that's not the kind of masks worn by most people. Most people wear them loosely fitted, thin pieces of cloth that probably capture some particles. What do I know? What do I know? But is unlikely to approach the efficacy that its proponents describe. We refuse to them without washing them. We reuse them without washing them. Can anyone really be bothered? We don't put them on properly. They leak left and right and the center. The fallback line, well, not individually, but they're part of a bigger package. The New York Times quotes Lindsay Marr at Virginia Tech saying that, quote, something is better than nothing. Perhaps every little helps in what otherwise would have been sense, but that's not how most decision makers justify the above withdrawal of our liberties. Rather, they say the infection rates are too high, the curve too steep, the hospital capacity for treatment too close for comfort. Presuming their honesty, the faking of which I can't put past them, there's scant evidence that aggregate mask use correlates in any way with infection rates. Sweden, where virtually nobody outside hospital settings uses masks, has had lower 7 days rolling deaths per capita than the US for 4 months straight. Lower than the mask wielding the lockdown prone UK for almost 2 months. Even the much praised German experience now has more people dying from and with COVID-19 than Sweden does. Infection rates and spreads too. The trends since the height of the summer or beginning of fall look the same, regardless if you're a massively mask-wearing country or not. Yet it is possible that without widespread mask use among Americans and Brits, infection rates would have been even higher, death rates too. I keep wondering what would the numbers have to look like for you to even consider what we're doing isn't working. That perhaps locking down societies practically doesn't do much to combat the disease, but quite a lot to ruin people's lives and livelihoods. We can choose cherry-pick countries for our various cases all we like. The success stories of Vietnam, New Zealand or Australia haven't done things much differently than Denmark, Austria, France, the UK or the US. Perhaps squeeze your poppers and say the magic incantations. Perhaps the virus deity will grant your wishes. I'm reminded of 2 decades old words by Jason Diakite, stage name Timbuktu, one of my favorite musicians and one of the most successful hip hoppers in Sweden. In the early 2000s, he released a pretty obscure song called Ett brev, a letter, structured like a letter to the then Prime Minister of Sweden, a political rapper, naturally hard left, like all good artists. Diakite was objecting to the many frightening trends he saw in Europe: dismantled social safety nets, overburdened healthcare services, opposition and hatred towards immigrants. He explicitly included a list of countries where Nazis were allegedly gaining the upper hand in typical Antifa-like hyperbole. France, Italy, Benelux, and Sweden's immediate neighbour Denmark. The list of places going radically south, as he saw it, was long. In all these places, forces for good have presumably surrendered. Little did Diakite know that almost 2 decades after he penned those provocative lines, in his words would ring true across most of the Western world. The authoritarian threat of 2020 is very different, and instead of neo-Nazi movements of the early 2000s, the culprits are established, well-meaning politicians and technocrats. Much like then, Sweden is depicted as a beacon of light, standing against a world gone mad and the last outpost of sanity and the values underpinning Western liberal democracy. Most everywhere else, different rules apply. No matter the facts, we must squeeze harder. The badly behaved virus must stop progressing, must cease and desist. Anything else, apparently, just doesn't seem to work. Thank you for bearing with me there. Thank you, Alan, for sticking with that one. Let's bring you in straight away. I know you're prepared and ready, and I know everybody here is waiting for bated breath. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Master Marathon Walker. He'll be doing marathon next. Alan, how are you, sir? How's the legs?
Sure, they're not so bad. Very, very happy birthday to you, sir. You're looking 10 years younger. You're looking 10 years younger.
Keep it coming, Alan. You can come back. Keep it coming. We'll have you back. Great. Keep them coming.
Yeah, but I'm all good now. Like the legs are starting to restore themselves now. Like it was a good thing. I used to work on a boat when I was younger, so like I have very fast for recovery in my legs. I'm kind of used to the burn, like in that sort of way. But it was definitely worth. Like I don't regret a single moment of doing that walk. And I guess the reason why I did it was because like I saw 2 articles, and the first article was the Irish government boasting about the fact that homeless figures had gone down in the country. And then there was another article stating that homeless deaths have actually increased by 35%. And when I saw that, it was like a dagger in my heart, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I just felt that something needs to be done. Like, awareness needed to be created. Like, and people needed to be shown what it's actually like to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere, like just in the pitch black in piss and rain, like, you know what I mean? With like nowhere to go or no security of housing or anything, you know?
Fantastic, and a great example, too, as well, Alan, I must say, and having the opportunity. Take us back to the very first from the start. Let us know about as you got started. Talk to us first about your interaction with An Garda Síochána. I seen that live broadcast. I wasn't able to stick around. Shows talk us about the conclusion, and then you might follow up about the well wishes and the reception that you receive as you're going through. Take us through that.
Yeah. So I started my walk, and I walked from Kilcolgan to Loughrea, and that was about a 20-kilometre walk, and it took me just over 4 hours to complete. And just as I'd got up to the top of Loughrea, when I was about to leave Loughrea town, the guards pulled up, and the moment the guards saw me, like they went off and they addressed me by my first name. They said Alan, and they go, "Oh, we hear that you're walking from Galway to Dublin,"
I'd
and
like to,
then
yeah,
went
the
off.
new, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they said, is there any particular reason why you're doing it? Because just very bad weather and all of that, and you're outside of the current regulations, 5 kilometre restrictions. And I went
Yeah.
off and I told them straight out that I'm doing it to create awareness for mental health. I'm doing it to create awareness for the homeless crisis in Ireland and
Mhm.
the effect that the lockdowns having on this country. So then he went off and he proceeded to start reading out whatever legislation was introduced recently, like off a piece of paper.
I seen
And I
that,
went
yeah.
off,
Crazy.
yeah, and I told him straight out. I said the only reason why, like, you're reading off a piece of paper is because it's not standard procedure. Like, and this isn't a typical process in what you were doing. But I
Mhm.
could tell by the response from the vanguard that was there that like she found the whole thing to be absolutely disgraceful. Like she wasn't happy like being there or herself and me, and I could nearly sense like maybe a bit of sympathy or nearly admiration for the cause that I was kind of fighting for.
Yeah.
But see then like there's an awful lot of people kind of back me up through the groups, and I didn't expect the video to go as viral as it did in that sort of way, but I guess it kind of showed how hypocritical it was because there's people walking past me. There's a woman jogging. There's a woman walking her dog, like two people walking their dogs, and the guards didn't actually prohibit them from walking longer, or they didn't restrict them from free movement. So like the only reason why they had stopped me was because somebody like went completely out of their way to rat me out, and
Yeah.
that's the culture which is destroying this country at the moment. Is people calling out on other people and ratting people out, and it's nearly like it nearly brings us back to a time of where we were under foreign rule, of where people were actually like reporting other people just to get them shot or hung or thrown into prisons and prosecuted. And it's a scary, like it's scary that people have that sense of bitterness and hatred in their hearts that they would actually go out of their way to sabotage like a genuine movement. Like
Yeah.
because like I wasn't doing this for anything, like I wasn't doing it for money. Like when people like I stated that I was doing it for charity, but see there's two definitions of charity. Like and like the second definition says that like you can create awareness and you can provide charity like typically through monetary funds. But I wasn't doing it for money. Like I was only doing it to create awareness. And if people want to, they're more than happy to like drop 10 or 20 euro into the next homeless person cups that at sea because like that's the greatest charity that you could provide. Because an awful lot of the charity services in the country at the moment they have state funding, so it's not only are the taxpayers giving these charities money, but then we're giving them donations, so they're getting double funded. And I recently saw another article saying that apparently 33,000 euro per homeless person is apparently it costs the country 33,000 per homeless person. But if that's the case, like you'd be able to put a person in a house for that, you'd be able to give them a car, like you'd be able to put your kids through school. So where's that money going? Like you don't need 2 or 300 administration staff to prove a point. So I told the guards like straight out that I was a free man in a free country, and that my ancestors had fought to ensure that I could freely walk across these lands. And then he goes off, he turns around to me and he
I remember
goes,
that,
"Oh,
yeah.
like, well, who are your ancestors that have died?" And I said, "Sure, my family's been here for the past 1400 years. Have been here since the 1400s. Like we fought in the conquest. We
I
fought
love it.
in the against the conquest of Scotland, and then we fought against the conquest of Ireland against the original invasion of a country. You know."
And his reply?
And his reply was he wasn't able to say much. Like that kind of put him back on his on his facts kind of a small bit. So I went off. I just kind of waved him off. Like I told him I was going to continue my travels, and I kept on walking.
Yeah, great stuff. And you just slantered off. I remember seeing it, just slantered off, and they let you be. You obviously you got the obligatory shin splints. As all good marchers will let you know, and good attention. Protect the feet, maintain the feet. An army marches on its feet. So once you take care, keep them dry, fresh pairs of socks. How did you find that? Talk to us about the physical experience. When did you first notice that the old legs were going, hang on a minute, Alan, can we have a rethink here?
I started to notice the kind of legs going with when I got to about Kiltormer. And so like that was when it first started getting dark, and that was when the storm started kicking in. Because an awful lot of people were saying to me, they were like, "Oh yeah, are you aware that there's a storm depression coming in at the moment?"
Oh,
Like, and they're saying that to me the Friday night before I left. But like it was kind of too late at that stage. So like I brought a pair of wellies. I brought two pairs of shoes, like a nice big heavy jacket over me, and I just blasted from there. But like he was really around Kiltormer. That was when I started to feel it, because the wind was starting to kick in and it was starting to freeze the muscles in my
yeah,
legs a small bit.
yeah,
And then like I was able to charge my phone up for a small bit, because I was having difficulties with my phone, and I was trying to keep that charged up as much as possible, just in case the guards stopped me again, because
yeah.
that was my only method of protection. And if
Filming
the
it.
guards had stopped me like on the side of the road, and if I didn't have my phone there with me, like they would have just said like everything then at that stage would have been hearsay, and they could
Hmm.
have just thrown me into the back of the van, prosecuted me on anything, made up any sort of lie. But even in the video, the guards actually accused me of swearing at him. So he was trying to get me on a public order offence. And there wasn't at one point in that video where I actually swore at him.
Yeah,
Like,
you
and
have
I
it all on
told him
record.
that everything here was documented, and I had everything here to back me up. And I showed him like every bit of respect. So like I was kind of worried at that point, like, But see, the problem was I was chasing Google Maps too much, like, So like you look at Google Maps, like it would say, okay, it's going to take you about 4 hours to walk here, but instead of kind of like gauging it out, like I was nearly kind of chasing Google Maps, and that was one of the things that kind of destroyed me. And
Yeah.
I went off. I set the challenge then of trying to get everything done in 40 hours, which was I guess a bit much for myself. Like I'm only 5'4" and I've got small legs in me, so like
The
it
heart of
was
a
a bit of a
giant.
challenge.
The heart of a giant, I tell you. Go ahead, buddy.
But when it got really bad was when I actually got to Air Court, and at that stage, like I got into Air Court, and that town scared the absolute hell out of me. And it was on a Halloween night, and I don't know what the hell it was with that town, but it was very eerie. Like it was like the bloody place was haunted. Like just places, shops closed down, like empty streets, like just the wind blowing through it. And I went off. I sat down there just to kind of warm up for a bit, and
Yeah.
yeah, just get a small bit of food into me. And then I was about 3 kilometers outside of Faircourt, and my legs just started giving up on me at that stage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't move my feet, I couldn't move my knees or anything. And I just picked the nearest ditch, and I popped into the ditch, and I slept in there for about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I woke up then.
Comfortably?
And, sorry?
Comfortably, or just passed out with exhaustion, was it?
Well, he was kind of pain and exhaustion at that point, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, were you carrying a backpack? Were you carrying the equipment for an overnight stay as well? Did you carry some out in your sleeping bag and some rain gear?
no,
Come
see,
on.
I didn't prepare.
Oh,
Like I kind of prepared like minimally, like, and
what's
that's
my
what I
favorite
so,
saying, Alan? What is my favorite saying? Fail to
go ahead.
prepare, prepare to fail. But you didn't. You had the heart of a lion and you cracked on through. But aside from those little indiscretions of not bringing some rain gear and just saying, I'm going to jump on me trainers here and I'm going to walk from Galway to Dublin. Let's get it done. That I can get behind. That I can admire. Tell us about the good wishes you got as well. And I've seen various people taking you in and ask you, Jesus, Alan, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, that was what made it. Like, you know what I mean? See, I'll be honest. Like the one thing that kept me determined was the people who were sending me messages. Like was and like then I didn't want to disappoint them, because like I gained like a lot of sports that I didn't really expect to get. Like, and then like he was just doing it for the people. Then like I didn't want to disappoint them, and I wanted them to show them the whole kind of journey because like it's something that people needed. Like people really needed that. Like especially in 2020 when everything has been so dire, like everything has been so depressive. Like it's just been debt, lockdowns, business closure, suicides. So people like just needed like a different experience, like or just to see things from a different perspective. But it was actually when I woke up, like, and I walked another 10 kilometers to Granaher, and I got there at about I think it was about 6:30 or like 27 in the morning, and I walked up and down to Lent town, and like just to see if there was a shop open just to get a cup of tea, and I think like it was like a 40 minutes waiting for a shop to open, and then this car went off and pulled up beside me, and he
Mm.
goes, Alan, and I was
Who are
and he
you?
goes, yeah. And he goes, how's your pop in here? Shall we bring you back to the house and we'll give you breakfast and a cup of tea?
Ah, that's brilliant, isn't it?
So when I'll be honest, like at that moment, he was like an angel. Like he was like an angel that came to me, like you know what I mean? Like
And it
because
probably was. It was the Lord and
yeah,
an angel in disguise. That's how it is. Very
yeah.
good. Go on. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
So they went off to pick me up, brought me back to the house. They gave me scrambled eggs, brown bread, cup of tea, and they gave me a place to sleep then for an hour and a half. And like that was a big change. Like you know what I mean? But like, see, like that's a perfect example of what it takes and what it shows in this country is that like we can't all do these things on our own. Like we do need the support and backup of others. Like, and that's
100%.
all these homeless people on those streets need is the backup and support of others. Like, and if people were willing to show me that admiration, then like to show the attention to the people who are on the street because they can't document their experience. And if they're able to document their experience on a daily or nightly basis, then people might have like a different approach, or they might see them a bit differently, or they might treat them
Yeah,
differently, or her look after them, you know. So,
100%.
so that was brilliant. Like, they went off, brought me back, and then see there was a group waiting for us in Tullamore then, and we went to Tullamore, and we met at a welcome party there, and like they went off to give me power banks, and they gave me a few bits and pieces and hugs and well wishes and pats on the back and all the rest. Like, and
Very good.
like it was things like that just made everything like all the more worthwhile. And then I got an extra two people on board to join me for the rest of my travels. Then after that,
That's amazing. Very well done. Congratulations. Congratulations to all involved and for everybody for getting out and getting involved, and for jumping out. Those in the locality, those on your route, for coming out and giving you help. And like you said, those little small moments, you don't, how desperate it is. Like when you're in the midst, I'm not saying it's painful, but when you're in the, when your body is on exhaustion and you're focused and determined on your point, you get very narrow viewed, and you're just kind of put one foot step at the other. I know how it goes, and the circle of vision gets ever smaller and smaller when you're just trying to keep plodding forward. But those little touches of not sympathy, but encouragement and a little bit of comfort to help ease into board, it is huge and very uplifting. I'm sure you found the whole experience very invigorating and maybe brushed off some of the cobwebs in your mind as well for you, Alan.
yeah, I found it very meditating. Like I found solitude. Like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
there's times where like you could be walking for like 2 hours, like, and you wouldn't see anything. There wouldn't be any light. Like it's just trees and darkness.
yeah.
Like, and then you could see like a city maybe like in the distance, and you just see the lights, and it's just like, oh, thank God, like I'm actually heading towards like some source of light. Like, but like you could be walking past houses, like you know what I mean, like, and you're looking at them, it's just like, oh Jesus, like I wouldn't mind just knocking on the door and just popping in, just lying on the couch, like you know what I mean, like, and he'd actually feel jealous, like you know what I mean, like he would
Yeah,
actually genuinely feel jealous,
yeah,
like of the people like in those houses, in those homes. But see, like I think I needed to put myself through something like that because like I do go, like I do speak out about the homeless, like, and it's good to understand and feel what it's actually like to do it, like you know what I mean. And I'm gonna do it again. Like I'm gonna plan like hopefully another walk from east to west, like, and hopefully like a few more people get on board and we can all back each other up, like,
yeah.
and maybe do it over a more kind of like a kind of a structure layout, so like it will kind of benefit everybody that's able to do it. But
A little bit of
I think,
preparedness, as you say, and a little bit of
yeah,
organization is not a good thing. And I guarantee you, you keep doing it, and I gather you will gather momentum, and it will gather more and more attention. Definitely. And you've got so many you've got so many well wishers, not only here amongst our community, but all throughout the country that tune in and understand where you're going. And I think that hashtag is another very important thing. Support and walk with Alan is a hashtag. I just pushed it up there as well. Intelligent Monkey also reminds us that D Wallace holding a protest at 2 p.m. outside Dublin City Council for the homeless. If you're
yeah,
available, make sure you get down there and support and get the numbers going as well. Dee's doing great work as well, as everybody is trying to put their shoulder to the wheel. Particularly like now, it's brutally cold. This is only the start of autumn really coming in. The depths of
yeah.
winter are going to be absolutely harrowing. Alan, and we're coming up on 35 minutes. I want to give us 5 more minutes on the discussion of the social or the homeless charities that that are there time and time again. Those genuine people I've seen. I can't remember the gentleman's name as he was talking about the 18-year-old. Both parents died and was sleeping on the street. So that was tearing at my heartstrings. That poor child walking those streets out there. I mean, this country is flipped on its head, but that can be resolved. But talk to me about, if you can, or what experience. We've got a lot of well wishers, but we've got a lot of people taking advantage of those homeless charities and taking food for free, queues out and around the door. I don't believe half the people that are there are actually homeless, are taking advantage of free meals and stuff like that. Talk to us about the charities that some of the what you would recommend for people doing this winter. Obviously, Nikki, one of our live chat members, made a great suggestion when they're out there today. And if you know and see homeless people, give them some vitamin C as part of the thing. Give them the vitamin C to help protect them, to keep them strong during the COVID crisis. That'll come as more important to them than any money would at the particular time. Alan, your thoughts?
Well, see, like the thing is, like we do have homeless charities, but it's good to have like people who are very active and very out there. Like I think it would be a great idea to just to have teams. Like if there's ever like a really bad storm, or if it's ever horrendous outside, like just create a team of people, like walk around Dublin, like put on a bit of rain gear and just see if there's somebody stuck on doorsteps, and see if there's any assistance or anything you can give them. And on top of that, like an awful lot of the superstitions and an awful lot of the home services that are given to people are actually done in the evening time.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we did like maybe food drops in the morning time, like something like kind of like a little daily package, like with a few nice little bits in it, like just keep people ticking throughout the day, like they'd much appreciate that. So like something with a bit of protein in it, like maybe like apples, like some sort of like just homeless pack, just to keep them kind of tick. Because this winter is gonna be fairly brutal, but like it's all about action now. Like you know what I mean. Like sometimes it's better to go out and do something yourself than like relying on another service to do for you. And it's just going on the back of like 33,000 euro per homeless person being spent in this country. Like that's not being represented, and there shouldn't be a person on the street. Like if that level of money or funding is going into the homeless people in this country, so we have to do it ourselves. Like we have to pull together as a community and do it right, because the problem is, like I think an awful lot of the NGOs in the country are effectively part of the like they're like they're part of the government in some shape or form. Like and see, like the state or the government should never have any control over any charity. Like that should
Mm-hmm.
always be kept within the people themselves. Like and I think that's where a lot of charities kind of get lost along the way. So it's, we have
Huge
to kind of
salaries and huge expenses. That's all lumbered on, and that's at the
yeah,
taxpayers' expense, the majority. So the well
yeah,
wish, the good wishes, and the intention is lost. Again, greed plays its ugly hand.
yeah. And that's what we have to do. And if we're going to stop, if we're going to have to, if there's some way to stop that greed, and if there's some way to I guess just like we just have to get out there and just do it ourselves. Like have good people who are willing to do it, determination, and I guess through doing that, then you can nearly expose, like I guess, and just show that maybe there is like a certain amount of corruption and fraud that are ongoing in the charities. But for a nation of 5 million people, like we should be able to house people here. And when you see things like asylum seekers, like getting housing within three months of entering into the country, and there could be homeless people on waiting lists for 5, 6, up to 10, 12 years sometimes.
Crazy.
Like that's nothing short but discrimination against the people that are here. But I think like approximately 225 to 250 million has been given to like asylum seekers for housing, and I don't think there was anything given to the homeless in this country in the previous budget. So like the whole budget 2020 has to be completely reassessed. Like, and we have to push back onto the politicians as to what are they doing, like for the people of this country. Like we have enough houses here. Like it's just a matter of utilizing our resources and having this like landlord culture of where literally everything is being completely monopolized. Like we have to kind of take that power back to the people, because it's the monopolization of this country which is ruining everything.
Crazy, absolutely, Alan. Thanks very much, Alan. We're going to wrap it up there. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Sweeney, a big round of applause. Thank you so very much, Alan, for joining me. Starting work. We'll keep an eye on you going forward, as obviously we'll keep an eye out on other things. Alan, we'll see you again during the week. Thanks for jumping in and letting us bring this up to date. Fantastic stuff. Live chat is a wash with well wishes. Appreciate that, brother. Take care. Talk to you soon. Say it, Alan. Good man. Sorry, buddy. Cut you off early there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's enough for us today. Tune in this evening. I'll be joined by a couple of guests. Keep it a mystery. It's a mystery. Oh, it's a mystery. I don't know if the whiskey is still in my system, but I'm still expecting the hangover to come in. But thank you all very much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Alan. A couple of news articles brought to you. Please, if you thought this was any of merit to you, please smash that like button, also the subscription button, and the bell, and you'll be reminded of future broadcasts here in the Grand Torino. Please share this publication on other platforms and help push the message. And a big shout out and a thank you to those of you using the World Wide Web, grandtorino.ie, for your support, without which none of this happens. Without you, there is no me. Appreciate all of you supporting us over there on the World Wide Web, grandtorino.ie. And also links in the description box here on Facebook. And I think we'll be uploading this one to YouTube later on, because I think we have that one back. No live chat. We won't be getting any live chat back for the foreseeable future on YouTube. So we will conduct our live chats here, and then we will republicize over on YouTube, back over there again. And if you're of a mind, please consider using our P.O. Box 13179 in Wicklow. If you have a mind to sell us a snail mail, we do love to read through them. And thank you all so very much for your correspondence on that platform. And the last few comments before I check you out there. Big shout out to Alan, as always. Great work that he's doing. You're a legend, Alan from Fran. Have a great day, you old boy, from Nikki. Thank you very much. 80s was the best. Yeah, my favorite time. Trump wins from Hogan. We'll finish out on that one. And then we'll see you later on this evening. Everybody, have a great and blessed day. Thank you all so very much for your birthday wishes. I'll go out my best and try and do what I can to keep the peace. See you later on this evening, baby. Baby. See you later on this evening. Everybody, take care. God bless us.